Um, I, a few years ago, put down what I call and we're going to start with that, the six commandments of how to become a student. And right now, we're going to talk about Jewish students, Torah students, and that's what's important to us, because or the relationship between a Rebbe and a student, and what a student has to be, and so on and so forth. Um, so therefore, we're looking at things from a perspective point of view. By the way, as I said, it's very likely that Rav Gansvi would come tomorrow, so I'll let you know so he can tell you about it.
6 points to becoming a student, is that what you said?
Yeah, the six commandments.
Commandments.
Yeah, the 6 steps, the triple, quadruple A for becoming a student, right? So there are certain requirements. To become a student, like anything else in life, you would need to make certain type of commitments. You will have to commit to do those things. And what I thought for now as those commitments will be your key to success to become a successful student, and many times will be able to carry on further into your life to actually give you a better chance to have what is so-called successful life. A successful life, I don't mean the amount of dollars in your bank account, but rather meaningful life that you feel that you would accomplish something, that you have meaning to your life, or purpose in your life. Life that at the end of the day, if you would make a movie, it will be interesting to watch. Life with a meaning to it. Life that you're not going to say was a waste. A life that you feel that you're really being fulfilling in every moment. That kind of life, by the way, is a paradox in it, because on one hand you would say, at any moment of your life, you could say goodbye and depart to the world of spiritual being by saying, I've had a good life. And yet, you will say, wait, hold on one second. I'm such a good executor of that, so give me a little bit more. So it's a kind of paradox. Now, these tools, like any tools, would require practice over a long period of time. You would need to master them. And in a way, it's like the practice of Jewish Kung Fu, which is a learning over a long period of time. That is what you're going to do. And things will just get better. Beginning things are tough. That's why how you also build your emunah, mishum imun, to practice, to work out. So in the beginning, when you go to the gym, you do get your cramps, but after a while, it's not a problem. Sometimes when you work hard, you even puke, but then you get used to it, and that's how you actually build your stamina. This will do the same thing to you, sometimes at a spiritual point of view. Nevertheless, they're very essential, so we're going to start. We're going to start with the first one. And the first commandment for a Talmid, for a student, is the student's obligation to learn.
That commitment?
You're right. You are obligated to learn. When you decided to become a student, you now made your first obligation to learn. The first thing to do. What does that mean? In other words, he's becoming the student when he decided to learn. He's making an acknowledgement that he's becoming the receiving part in that relationship. And it is a relationship. That's why most people who have a problem with relationship will have problems to become students as well. Because a relationship is a relationship. Is a relationship. Okay? So therefore, he would have to understand that he's becoming the vessel. Therefore, when he is not willing to accept and to fill himself with the words of his Rebbe or his Rabbanim, in this case, could be also Chazal, when you learn in Gemara alone in Israel, somewhere in Boker, Ezra, he's not going to be able to learn. Why? Because when he's not willing to receive, you will get a condition where both sides are giving or both sides are receiving, and that's not going to be one filling the other. You cannot fill an empty cup from another empty cup. One has to be full, the one has to be filled. Now, therefore, he has to remember that he's becoming the passive part of this relationship. One is active, one is passive. One is the teapot, the other one is the cup which receives the tea from the teapot. It is very difficult to pour the tea back to the teapot. Grasshopper. Right? So, once again, in a way, you're telling me that learning Torah is an action, and I'm telling you, yes, it is. You are fulfilling the mitzvah of kum ve'aseh, get up and do. Kum ve'aseh of Talmud Torah, because you are required to get up from what you're doing and learn. By how? By shev ve'al ta'aseh. By sitting down and becoming passive and willing to accept, you are fulfilling an action with no action. It's like the art of fighting with no fighting. Is you are receiving that. Now, it's very hard because we have big egos. And we have a big ego that prevents us from actually receiving. It sounds crazy, but we are the obstacles that prevents us from receiving. Why? Because we cannot understand that somebody is teaching me and I don't know it. Well, you know what? Here comes Chazal and says, V'chol melamdai hiskalti. I gained wisdom from whoever was willing to teach me. And that means everyone and everything.
Everyone?
Everyone.
Even the arrogant, ignorant guy?
There's something to learn from everything. Also from a what do you call a domem, a non-moving object. You can learn something from a rock. Didn't Rabbi Akiva learn from water on a rock? How the water comes down and you learn
learning from that faster than learning from some ignorant, hot-headed, foolish person.
Well, for example, you learn not to be that ignorant, foolish,
Right.
and you learn something, and therefore you learn something from a person now. Wonderful. You know what? He became your Rebbe for that purpose.
Wow.
Why are you talking about your family up in here?
Now, in other words, when you decide to become a student, leave your ego outside. That is, empty yourself from yourself.
You have to say to somebody bigger or better than me.
It's not to be bigger or better. It has to do that I am willing to receive now. I am a sponge. I'm receiving from everybody.
You have to decide when to become a student.
You have to decide to become a student, and that's why you become a student for life.
Isn't it taking the submissive role to the teacher to saying,
We'll get to that.
Who
We'll get to
become
that.
a
We'll get to
student
that.
from.
Now,
Everybody.
right now we're talking about the
That's what I'm
students, guys. Right now we're talking about how to become a student. I'm going to really teach to
So it's an
the.
ego. So there's somebody smarter than me out there. I have to say this.
No,
or
even
be
if
on the
no,
receiving
nothing. It could be with a lower IQ than you, possessing lower IQ than you, and
He
he
knows
can
something I
basically can teach you the lesson of your life.
Right.
Okay,
end. He knows something I don't.
that's right. And you're never going to know everything. That's why you can learn from everybody. Now,